The comment came up now, today, literally like 5 minutes ago, and I was like, I need to address this. So the comment was this: I'm getting ready to get ready, researching ad nauseum how to do something because I'm more committed to doing it right than I am in having the results of it. And I think that this is something that a lot of you can probably relate to, right? So perfectionism is definitely a big problem. Procrastination is definitely a big problem. And I say problem, but I mean like something that you're probably struggling with, something that's probably holding you back in your business. And therefore, it's something that we want to make sure that we are navigating and dealing with. So there's a few things here that I kind of want to like coach you through. If this is you, if you are in the scenario where you keep on researching over and over again, figuring out how to do something, learning how to do something, and you feel like you're more committed to researching it and to doing it right than actually having the results of it, right? If you're spending all your time learning and planning and you're not really taking action, you're not really implementing the things that you are learning and planning, then I have like a mini coaching here for you. Okay, so these are a few questions that you can consider. I'm curious for you, what does it mean to you to do it right? What does that even mean, right? So when you think about doing something right, doing something maybe perfect, doing something the right way, not making mistakes, not having any flaws to it, what does that even mean? So that's one of the questions that I would pose to you. Another question, because this comment was, and again, I thank you so much for posting this comment because this is absolutely fantastic and this is such a wonderful thing that I think, again, we are all dealing with at some point or another. So this is a really important topic. But another part of it was, I'm more committed to doing it right than I am to having the results of it. So one of the things that you can kind of look at if you're in this position where you're feeling like, okay, well, it's more important to me to do this right than to actually get the results. What are the results? And why aren't the results as important to you as getting something perfect? The number one mistake that every perfectionist makes, so if you identify as a perfectionist, then listen up. The number one mistake that every perfectionist makes is not digging beneath the surface to using this perfectionism as information and to figuring out, what is my perfectionism telling me? Now, everyone's answer is going to be different, okay? So there's no one right answer to anything in life or in business, but here especially, there's no one right answer. So if you're sort of looking at things in terms of, I want to do it right, then I want to get it's more important to me to get things right than it is to get the result, then there could be a lot of different things going on there. It could be that the actual result isn't quite the thing that you want, right? So you need to actually sort of reassess goals. It could be that the strategy that you're thinking about using, the plan that you've kind of been implementing for yourself, isn't the right fit for you at this particular junction. So those are a couple of things that could be going on. Okay, so really sort of like digging into this a little bit more. And then the other sort of piece that I would really encourage you to look at is, why is perfectionism more important to you? Right? And sometimes we need to unpack a lot. Sometimes there is a lot to unpack in terms of things that we grew up with, right? As kids or as teenagers or as adults, the different things, different experiences that we've had over the years, different interactions that we've had, things that we've been praised for versus, right? Like there's so many different aspects that can go into perfectionism. So there is a lot to unpack here. But I would say that regardless of, for all of you watching this, regardless of what has sort of led you to the point of being a perfectionist or feeling like you're a perfectionist, nothing is ever perfect, right? Nothing will ever be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. So trying to strive for perfect isn't really doing you any favors. And oftentimes, one of our problems in our society is that we end up almost wearing perfectionism as a badge of honor, because we think, if I'm a perfectionist, then that means that I am very detail oriented and I pay a lot of attention to things and I want to do a really good job. And that's all great. It is so wonderful that you care so much and that you want to do a really good job. That is wonderful. But when we kind of reframe it and start shifting how we're approaching it and how we're viewing it, that can be really powerful, because there's a lot of information when we refer to ourselves as perfectionists. When we identify with the perfectionism label, there's a lot of information that we can derive from it. So oftentimes when we consider ourselves perfectionists, what we're actually doing, unfortunately, is doing ourselves a little bit of a disservice, because we're kind of mislabeling the situation as perfectionism. When we say that I want to do a really good job at this, there's other pieces going on there, right? Perfectionism and procrastination, right? These types of things are symptoms of things that are a little bit deeper and under the surface. So this is a beautiful, wonderful opportunity to kind of like dig in there a little bit and sort of explore, what is my perfectionism masking for me? Why am I holding on to perfectionism? Why is this a more important piece for me than moving forward with things? Why is it more important to hold on to the badge of perfectionism, or why is it more important that I get something perfect than actually move forward with it? Oftentimes when we are perfectionists, it does mean that we care a lot, right? Again, it means that we just care a lot about the outcome. We care so much about doing a good job, about getting something right. And so what we want to focus on in that sense is the caring aspect a lot more than the fears and nervousness and perfectionism that are right now blanketing and surrounding your caring, right? Because the fears and nervousness and perfectionism are holding you back from being able to move forward. Whereas if you peel back those layers and let the caring move forward, the amount that you care about this result, if you let that sort of shine through, then the really beautiful thing that can happen is that it will be that much easier to actually move forward with everything. Okay, so I think that that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope that this helps. Perfectionism is a really tough thing to unpack. There's a lot of different layers to it. It's going to be completely different for every individual as to how we want to unpack it and what is actually beneath the layers of it. Because again, perfectionism is a symptom and it shows up again and again in all kinds of different scenarios. So we need to dig beneath it to get to the root, and the root issue is going to be different for every person. And so how we want to actually handle the root issue and deal with the root issue will again be different. Because if we try to just deal with the perfectionism issue, then that doesn't actually deal with the real problem, right? It just kind of solves a little piece of it, and then it's going to come back up. And so if you are the type of person who finds that you have perfectionism comes up for you a lot, or it comes up for you in different particular areas, then that's a really good indicator that it's a surface level sort of symptom that is being dealt with, and that it needs to be sort of, you need to sort of dig in a little bit deeper to handle it at the root issue. So again, I hope this helps. And I wanted to talk about this on a Facebook Live because I've noticed a few sort of perfectionism types of things cropping up over the past, couple of weeks. So I'm so glad that this comment came up. Thank you so much. This is such a good one, and it's a really important piece. And again, I think that a lot of us are dealing with this in different ways. And a lot of you who are watching this right now, who are going through the collective and everything like that, you're probably experiencing some degree of perfectionism. And so this is a really good thing to kind of keep in mind as you're moving forward. All right. And again, if you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments. Pop a comment in here. Let me know if this was helpful for you. Let me know if you want me to unpack any of this further. Again, I'm here, as I've mentioned earlier, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to guide you, I'm here to support you